Hello, greetings, and welcome back to the BFC, where we go into the trenches of the trading world. Now, listen, I know a lot of you guys have been reaching out to me and have been asking me, are you going to do an ILUS shareholder update? And you know what? I just wanted that PR, and I wanted that whole shareholder video that they put out. I just wanted that to stew for a little bit. I wanted just to sort of hang out and just take it all in, because there was a lot of information there. We're actually going to break down a little bit of it today. We're going to break down like the whole AK that they put out. But I will say this, like, there are a lot of concerns with traders and investors with this one, because, you know, they are ILUS and SAML are in a grace period for their filing. So listen, guys, if they don't get the filings in, this thing will go to expert market, and we understand that. And so is there a possibility that could happen? I'm going to give you my opinion in a little bit on that. So I do want to break down this filing. I do want to talk about what they have going on. They have their hands on a lot of pots. And it's always been the case with ILUS, with Nick Link and his team. You know, they have a lot of different subsidiaries going on, and they're trying to build out a conglomerate. That was the goal, this whole thing. So whether or not they ultimately succeed and it pays off for shareholders remains to be seen. So let's get into this. Let's get into this 8K. And I want to just sort of I just want to break it down piece by piece as they laid it out here. And like I said, I'll give you my opinion on what I think is going to happen. Whoop, wrong slide on my end. So ILUS provides shareholder podcast update on strategic progress across its portfolio companies. Now, listen, the video was very long. All right. So if you have a long commute like I do, it's a perfect time to listen to it. But if you're a heavy investor, if you have tens of thousands of dollars in this company, I know I have a lot of money in this company. A lot of you guys have a lot of money loaded in, when it was surging up in the nickels, dimes, and quarters. And if you are invested in this company a lot, I strongly urge you to read this 8K on your own, and also listen to that full podcast, just because you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence, and you want to make sure that you're comfortable as an investor. Right now, the stock, I'm not going to get into the chart today, but the stock's it's in the basement right now. And I think if we do hit EM, which I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, if we do hit EM, it's going to see trips again. But hey, let's keep it to the PR and let's see what we have going on here. So let's ILUS company overview: reset, refocus, and rebuild. After navigating two challenging years in 2023 and 2024, ILUS is entering a new chapter of strategic growth and consolidation. Key themes from the shareholder podcast include audits, business model realignment, and strategic value creation. All right. And this is where I highlighted this, because this is important. Audits. ILUS and SAML have transitioned to a U.S.-based auditing firm, enhancing compliance and aligning with future uplisting goals. The company is currently finalizing a comprehensive 2-year re-audit and related consolidations to bring all financials filings fully up to date. Now, listen, this is a key right here. I honestly think, and some of you may not like me saying this, but I'm going to give it to you straight, and I'm going to give it to you, you know, in my opinion. I do think that they have the possibility where they could go expert market. I firmly believe that. If they don't get the filings in, it's going to go expert. The nice thing is they're an SEC reporting company. It will be easy to get out of expert once the filings are in and things get squared away. But I think this is a possibility because they're re-auditing everything. He admitted in the podcast that, you know what, with the firm that they went with, it was a bad decision. It was a bad choice. So they're going with a US-based auditing firm. So that's key there. They're talking about business model realignment. ILUS has structured several legacy operations and consolidated its footprint, including relocating core operations to a central facility in Jacksonville, Florida, to streamline production and reduce costs. And strategic value creation. ILUS continues to evaluate uplist, spin-offs, partnerships, and dividend-based structures to unlock and return shareholder value. And I know what many of you are thinking, and I will say it. Well, they've done nothing. We haven't seen their products. They haven't built out their business. They've been borrowing money left and right. What the hell's going on? Yeah, how could they talk about uplists? How could they talk about dividends? You know, when they're not even in a position to, because of the debt financing that they took on. And that's just the harsh reality of it, and we all understand that. I think that the solution is in this PR, and we're going to get to that in a second. It's not an overnight solution, by the way. These things take time, so. The stronger they build, the longer they build, I think the stronger they surge. So I think they're laying a nice foundation, and they've been through hell and high water these last couple years. So I want to focus on SAML. Those of you that know, I am a big holder in SAML, 8 million shares strong. I know BFC community has a ton of shares in SAML. and their transition is going to be called, they're going to be transferring to ILUS Industries transition. All right. I just said that like George W. Bush. The ILUS Industries transition. Yeah. See, I could have some fun when I do this, guys. But SAML, an ILUS portfolio company, is currently undergoing a rebranding process. A name change to ILUS Industries is underway. Okay. We know how the name changes go. We know how FINRA goes. Guys, hey, Nick Lincoln Company, hire a lawyer and get on FINRA's ass, because if you don't do that, good luck. So, there's a lot of games always with FINRA. Nick Link is serving as interim CEO. We know that. And so they're looking for a permanent CEO currently in progress. And I think what's happening is they're looking for an acquisition. They're looking for a main company to bring into SAML to oversee everything. And that company's leader, president, whatever, will be the CEO of SAML. I don't know that is what's happening. I'm just going based on this next line. It says, ILUS Industries will provide a focused platform for vertical growth and additional merger activity. So I think whatever they're looking to roll up into SAML or roll SAML into, I think that company is going to be, obviously they're going to look for a strong CEO and strong leadership there. So that's what I think is going to happen there. And you have ERT, because originally SAML was going to be ERT. I remember the name changes was going to be Rescue, RESQ was one of the name options, but it looks like it's going to be ILUS Industries. But it's still going to be there as a subsidiary under ILUS Industries controlled by ILUS Industries. So you know what I'm going to do one day? I'm going to put together a freaking flow chart and how all this lines up. I'm not even joking. Expect that from me in the next week or so that way we can visualize this damn thing, because I have so many people like in the BFC Discord and just like trading in general. They're like, I'd like to invest in ILUS, but I have no idea what they do. I have no idea the flow of it. I just don't get it. And so I think we need a visual. We need a graphic, damn it. And so I'm going to work to put something together. I'm going to take this PR, this AK, and I'm going to try to best illustrate, no pun intended, what they have going on. So like I said, ERT will still be there, but it will be sitting under ILUS Industries. All right. So ERT remains a core pillar of ILUS's strategy, advancing innovation in the fire, public safety, and industrial markets. Okay. And I'm not going to go through every single little thing in here, guys. Just read the PR. But this is one thing that you guys were talking about, and it was the E-Raptor. We haven't heard crap on the E-Raptor. Why do we have to talk about the E-Raptor? Blah, 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 blah. Well, here it is. They finally acknowledge it, and it's still going down. All right. E-Raptor, EV range, the desktop research and development, and new design of the new electric vehicle are complete. Production will begin in Serbia with partial U.S. assembly at ILUS's Jacksonville site. And I'm trying to put two and two together here, and I'm thinking, all right, they're relocating everything to Jacksonville. All right, so there has to be some common denominator between the acquisition and what is going to enable them to actually start building these things and get them done. I'd like to own one. I'd like to make so much money off this freaking stock that I could actually own it. I want a damn E-Raptor. I've always said that. And so they're going to talk about expansion into vertical markets. ERT is actively developing distribution networks and product offerings in the industrial, safety, and agricultural sectors. I think that's a new one for this product, and will seek an acquisition of a distribution network for this product. So there's another little clue, and we'll find out there's no guarantee to any of these things. All right. So that's where SAML stands. I'm a big holder in it. I plan on adding more shares if I can. Do I think it could hit the W2 range again? Absolutely. The stock itself, let me just talk about SAML. And by the way, if it goes EM, I think it's going to take a nice hit. It's going to take a dip, and I'm going to gobble up some more shares. But this is my opinion. The stock itself moves like a hot knife through butter. People have been loading the zone, but this has been the case for the last year and a half. It moves hot in both directions. And so I really think it was a golden opportunity when we had that time when it was in the trips. And so I took advantage of it. I know a lot of you in the BFC community did, but now the company has to put up and do something with it. And we should be able to make a decent buck on this one. I really think this one's going to run hot, especially with substantial news and acquisitions and just announcements and regular updates, which is what we're hungry for as shareholders. So ILUS recently completed the sale of QIND to Fusion Fuel Green PLC, NASDAQ, HTOO, and that one took a little bit of a slap around today, but let's talk about it. And this is important. ILUS now holds approximately 35 million shares of NASDAQ listed HTOO. All right, so they can essentially sell these shares. They could make money off these shares. They could collateralize these shares. They could utilize what they're holding here to grow the businesses beneath it. Like, let's say, for example, SAML and all those ERT companies. All right. So, and that's the difference maker. If HTOO does some sort of a split, or if the price surges to, let's say, $1, $2, whatever, depending on acquisitions that they have coming in, let's ask ourselves this. If they have all that money, of course, at that point, what can they do? They can literally pay off their debt. They could refinance. They could do a bunch. The terms that they will finally have the ball in their court because they'll have cash. That's been the big problem of this whole thing, is that they haven't had money flocking in like crazy. So I'm excited that they're able to be in this position. Now, what is important here is that they get the HTOO price up, and they just did approve a reverse split. I don't know how that's going to affect the shares that they own. If they're still going to have those 35 million shares, I don't know if it's only going to be the outstanding shares, if it's going to be any of the preferred shares. I don't know any of the details on this, so I'm not going to claim to know it or try to make assumptions. But the goal is to get HTOO as high as they can, because now they can utilize the funds that they have to fund, pay off the debt, and they talk about it in here too. But like I said, read this whole thing. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm just firing off a little bit and getting lost in the PR. So don't mind me. So, all right. So now we have Replay Solutions, which is still around. There's still the resource recovery and e-waste. We discussed that. They discussed that at the shareholder meeting. It was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. And so that is now a thing. So Replay is now launching its environmentally sustainable operations. E-waste processing is set to begin in Serbia. So that's going to be done in conjunction with possibly, I don't know, maybe something that they have going with the eRaptor. Maybe it's the same facility, same area. I don't know. So equipment and machinery have been manufactured and are waiting shipment to operational locations. They've signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, with a Dubai-based refinery for the potential acquisition of a substantial volume of marine sludge oil. All right. So there we go. Another acquisition. Now it goes on. There is no guarantee that either of these acquisitions will materialize. And listen, we saw what happened with DRCR. We saw what happened originally with QIND. You cannot say, yep, this is going to happen. Because look, I'll be honest, like DRCR, we thought that thing was done. We thought Swifty was, I'm not going to get into it because I'll get fired up on it. This is not about DRCR, but these things could fall apart at the last second, sometimes unknowing to the other party. So look, I think there's a lot of upside here, but I'm going to bring it back again. Don't be shocked if perhaps we go into expert market. All right. So I just want to just finish this up because I've been droning a little bit, but I got to fire off on it because I haven't done a solely like ILUS video in a very long time. So it says strategic and financial outlook. ILUS has materially strengthened its financial position through the QID and HTOO transaction. Like I was just explaining, the organization now manages a portfolio of increasingly bankable businesses supporting improved capital access. And with enhanced balance sheet strength and operational scale, ILUS is increasingly improving and readying itself for a potential IPO or uplist in the future. That is a very bold statement, all right, especially when they mentioned it 3 or 4 years ago, and here we are. ILUS intends to establish a BDC company called iLove Capital, either within ILUS or a standalone, all right? Well, another spinoff, another ticker, with ILUS shareholders receiving benefits in some way to be defined. As this matures, ILUS may be in a position to explore dividends or share buybacks consistent with its vision of long-term shareholder return. And so that would be nice. I'd be all about a share buyback and pay off the debt. I know people talk about the Brett Rosen notes and, hey, pay off Brett, buy back shares. Let's get the party started. You guys, listen, and you guys, I've been talking about ILUS for a very long time. This is one of the first stocks I've covered when I got into the penny stock podcasting and all that stuff. And so I'm excited, because this is a long position for me. I've always said this is a 3 to 5 year hold is when things are going to really start, coming to fruition. And I always said, yeah, the share price was nice, but that wasn't sustainable. Everybody was just the OTC was pumping, all right, and ILUS was being pumped up, and they didn't even have anything going on. They didn't have this whole plan laid out like they do now. Now they're in a position to actually get things started. So I always said a 3 to 5 year plan. We're in what, year 4.5, And so this is when it's going to really get interesting because there's a lot at stake, and they know they really do. So, I don't know. Do they become successful? Will they succeed? Are they going to get this thing done? I do. Can they go expert market? They can. Don't be surprised if they go expert market. Not at all. Don't be surprised. Do I think SAML is going to be a banging stock? I absolutely do. I hope we see some nice high volume days. The thing already hit 4 or 5 cents. Now there's actually some structure behind it. It may have funding coming in through the purchase of their HTOO shares. But dude, guys, there is so much going on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put together like an ILUS flow chart, something for us to look at visually so we could see where the pieces fit. And I think that's what we really need to see for them. Where do the pieces fit? And it's like a puzzle you got to put together. There's a lot going on this one. You got ILUS, you got SAML, you got QID, you got HTOO, CGRA. I think CGRA should watch now. We haven't heard anything about that because they're now merging in with AREC. So there's a lot going on here. And now they're talking about doing other things coming out of ILUS as well. So listen, there's a lot going on with this one. I'm still here. I'm still adding when I can. Not even joking. I'm still going to add to this position. I got my average down to half a penny. And I had a really good entry on this one back in the day too. Averaged up, averaged down. And if this thing sees trips, I'll continue to buy it. It's like I said, it's in a buy zone in my opinion. And it was actually, I'm not going to lie, with SAML, it was weird being green the other day, and it's like, this moves nicely. And we all knew that. So I think when the time comes and all the wheels start turning, I think this is going to be a beauty. I'm standing by this one, just like I stood by CYBL, and now they have a freaking partnership with Palantir. I will say I was right about that. So if that's a victory lap for all you siblings out there, all you CYBL investors, come on, that's big stuff. We also have another couple winners that I'm going to be covering this week that I'm bringing you guys that I think are going to have excellent years, an excellent year. Sorry, but that's all I got. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're having a good summer. I just had vacation last week, so it was nice to sort of just decompress and enjoy the 4th of July. And that's all I got. Remember, there is more that binds us than breaks us. You guys have a great night. Peace out.